Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing? Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Hey, I almost didn't have the screens ready then. I realised when I looked over at Bibby, he was off screen and it was a text screen. So I was like, shit, press the buttons and getting things in place. But we're all good. How are you guys doing? It's Thursday. I had to remember it's Thursday and it's almost 12 noon. It's not quite as good as the 10 a.m. ish that we've been having all the way through the week. It's lunchtime ish, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. How are you all doing? How are you doing? How's things, Bib?
Yeah, man, good. Fresh off the back of a Predator stream yesterday. Hunting Grounds, what a game. Again, if you've got PlayStation Plus, you are subscribed to it, you get that game for free this month. Please go out, download it. We'll probably end up playing it again. You can join in with us. It was fantastic fun yesterday over at the Insert Coin stream channel yesterday. Stream, advert, sponsored, all the stuff. But yeah, they invited us over again yesterday to stream on their channel. That's exactly what we streamed. We got our community involved, and it was one hell of a 3 hours.
It was good. It was really good. It was really good. I mean, the way that Beans TV described it on the stream or in the chat before he jumped in the stream was Predator Hunting Grounds is free on PS Plus. If you didn't know that, that's what we're talking about. So we played Predator Hunting Grounds, which is free on PS Plus. We played that for our game as we guest hosted on Insert Coin yesterday. And Beans said it's the first game for months that he's got through PS Plus that he's wanted to play has actually downloaded and installed, and we played it yesterday and it was really good. Get to the chopper, where are you?
Yeah, you even bought a skin?
Yeah, I did. I bought the Dutch 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger skin, and it was worth every penny just to hear the get to the chopper command. It's worth it.
Yeah, but that was the most surprising thing for me, that it actually came with the voice acting that comes with it. Like, I genuinely just thought it'd be a skin. Like, in a first person game, if you've got a skin on, it seems kind of pointless to me because you get to see it in the cutscene, and then the benefit is for everybody else, really. But the fact that you could like ping commands and it would be Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice, that was fantastic.
And it wasn't just like a rough cut from the film. It was like there was like 2 or 3 different versions. So sometimes you just get straightforward, get to the chopper, and then sometimes it's like, I think we need to go and get on the chopper, and it's like, okay, it's the same sort of thing. That's not what Arnold Schwarzenegger said. I was like, I know, we'll just pretend that was perfect and we'll move on. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was good. If you missed it yesterday, you can watch the video on demand. Insert Coin have tweeted a link out to that this morning. So if you want to watch the full stream back on demand, you can do. You can see me and Bibby doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions just by sticking our tongues out. If you don't know what I mean, stick your tongue out and say, where are you? Keep your tongue stuck out. It makes sense. Where are you? There you go.
Wow. Say get to the chopper like that, Graham.
Nope. Doesn't quite work the same. Get who the chopper. No, I'm hiding behind my pop shield once I say it as well, because my God. Anyway, welcome in. If you are here today and you weren't here yesterday, don't worry. You may have missed some exceptional one-time only content. Well, I say one-time only, it's on demand. But today you get the same and then some. Yesterday we did our morning scoop, and then we did a big old stream over on Insert Coin. Today you get the scoop. Then you get some PUBG fun times, playing with friends as well, by the way. We will be looping in Jack Lepoo, who will be jumping in some games with us today. We'll see if Beans is free as well, so we can fill out a full squad. So we're playing some PUBG, but then that's not it. That's where you usually get your 2 streams, pow, back to back. Morning, lunchtime, afternoon-ish, yeah, all that covered, but we will be covering your evenings as well. Tonight, 9 p.m. is the PlayStation Showcase. So all of the additional content, Insert Coin stream yesterday, PlayStation Showcase today from 9 p.m. If you want to watch all of the reveals, and there is quite a lot of rumours now. Obviously, some of them out of left field, some of them maybe a bit more realistic. We're not going to touch any of that stuff in today's stream. We do have quite a lot of PlayStation content, but if you want to see our thoughts, our impressions about the rumors about what could be happening, do tune in from about 8:30, 8:45-ish tonight. We will be going live before the showcase kicks off at 9, and then we will do the full watch along for I think it's around 45 minutes, Mr. T said, is what the showcase will be. So expect quite a lot of content across that 45 minutes, and the extra half an hour wrapping it before and after kind of thing. So do feel free to join us. What that is then, this is now. If you don't know what this is the scoop. Thursday 9th September 2021, as it says on the screen. We are here to bring you the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. Yeah. Anyway, we do. We do. We really do. This is the podcast that I listen to the most because I'm in it. so my impression it is the best. We give you our thoughts and impressions of the biggest, the best, and breaking stories from the world of video games over the next hour or so. If you don't know what the scoop is, but it's not just us giving you our thoughts and impressions. We also want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and you can do that. We go live on Twitch with this. We do go live on Twitch each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads at 10 a.m. ish 10 a.m. ish. It's now 5 to 12, so ish. Yeah, we do go ish. We go live at 10 a.m. ish, which does give you an opportunity to get involved in the chat, and it's important that you do because we turn the live stream into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So please do feel free to get involved in the show, and it's important because we have lots of people that do watch and listen on demand. Hey, you guys, I'm talking to you. How's your day going? How's your day been? Hey, so make sure you get involved and use your voice on behalf of those. Before we do jump into the news, obviously we've given you the reminder that the PlayStation Showcase is coming tonight. We will have a live watch along. We have tweeted that out. Do go check the asset on our social media. Hit retweet on it. Hit like on it on Facebook. Same on Instagram. Do all that jazz. But as well as that, a little reminder that we have the loot drop. We remind you on this every single stream, but the loot drop is a way that we give a little bit back to our subs. So not only do you get the chance to help our channel by supporting us with subs and gifted subs and all of that stuff, obviously 20% off that right now in September as well. Shout out to Bacon Chin yesterday for gifting a tier 1 sub to Eternally HD. And the reason I mentioned Bacon Chin specifically is because I'm talking about the loot drop. He's just bagged himself one of these Ice Cream Uploads esports jerseys just for being a sub. Well, I said just. He's in the Discord as well. His accounts are linked, and he's done all of that jazz to make sure he's included in the giveaway every month. So make sure, if you're a sub, make sure you're in the Discord, because then you can win yourself prizes. Nice. You looking forward to the watch along tonight, babe?
I am. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to be seeing. I imagine we're going to see stuff like Deathloop because that's obviously so close now. But I'm interested to see what else. Like I was speculating that we potentially could have seen something Gran Turismo-ish. Obviously, these discussions are taking place or were taking place in our Discord. We aren't always live, but our Discord always is, obviously, because that's what it's there for. So obviously, if you do want, I'm saying obviously a lot, obviously. If you do want to talk about video games where we are not live and not on the scoop, then the Discord is definitely the place to be able to get involved with, because we are always active on there talking to our community. So yeah, the discussions were going around yesterday about potentially seeing some Gran Turismo. I thought we potentially could have been seeing it. Chappers has debunked that by saying that we usually see something from that like every 7 to 9 years. I don't think it's time for Gran Turismo yet because GT Sport is still doing so well. However, who knows? We genuinely have no idea. This is the PlayStation's first one of the year, I think. Obviously that wasn't at E3, there wasn't at Gamescom, so I'm super interested to see what we're going to be getting.
There might have been something earlier. I can't quite remember. We might have had an indie state of play or something around there, but this is their first significant one. Yeah, this is
definitely have those.
Yeah, definitely. It's the first significant thing for sure. Although to counter Chappers' comment, we don't see Gran Turismo for every 7, 8 years-ish or whatever. There is a GT in the works. They have already announced that. They've already confirmed that, and they have already delayed that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did get some Gran Turismo content, because that could be the start of not now, next year, but it's coming. This is the stuff to look forward to, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll be super excited.
Let's jump into the chat and the notifications. Vern, thank you very much for the host. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
every day this week now. What a guy. Love you. If anyone else wants to drop a host, just do it now. Let's get it all out of the way. I'm not joking. You can drop a host whenever you want, or not. You don't have to, but we appreciate it. It does help with the exposure of the channel. Thank you very much. King X Get It, thank you very much for the follow. And I see you in the chat as well. You say, what is this about? Well, this is The Scoop. This is our podcast. We record it live on Twitch, and we go through the biggest stories from the last 24 hours or so of video games. And that's what we're about to do. You've just joined us just at the start of the stream, so we haven't actually jumped into any of the topics just yet, but we will do that shortly. Gagad says, good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? Kevin Ashburner says, hashtag Thursday morning ice cream. You've been here for the last 3 days as well, at least, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the consistency.
What time is it in Auckland? That's obviously New Zealand, isn't it? So I'd love to know what time it is over there. Is there any difference to what it is over here? Surely.
Alexa, What time is it in Auckland? 10:59 p.m. There you go. Okay,
Hey.
Alexa, stop. That's enough. Chill out,
That's
mate.
going around the world.
Also, my favourite shoe size is 6. I don't know why I like that shoe size, but fuck off. Go away. Good morning, Vern. Jack says, morning, Bibby and Gray. Morning, chat. Good morning, Jack. Speak of the devil. So that's who we'll be jumping in some games with. If you want to see some PUBG fun times this afternoon, myself and Bib will be jumping in with Jack. Beans, I did see you in the chat or on, where would it? I'm sure I've seen it. Is Beans not in the chat or was it? Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, morning, gents. I'd scrolled up. I'd lost him. And he's hosted as well. Thank you very much, Beans. Beans, if you're interested in some PUBG fun times today, do feel free to join me and Bib and Jack. We can play some games. That's the squad of dreams. Which is absolutely just this squad and not every squad that I play with. Okay. But morning, Jack. How's things, dude? Where are we? There we go. Beans' morning, gents. I'll rate. Bacon Chin says, oh, hello. I'll reach. Speak of the devil, we're speaking about Bacon Chin as well a little bit earlier on, reminding everyone that he won the loot drop and also thanked him for his gifted sub yesterday. Eternally, if you're about, enjoy. King, how am I saying that? Is it King X get it? Do we just go for King? Do you want get it? Get it. Getting it. But what's your favourite game? It depends on getting it. It depends on. There's no way I couldn't respond to that, Bumper and Donald. Getting it. Getting it. There's my favourite game. It depends on the day. My favourite game right now is probably going to be PUBG still, but I don't know. That's a difficult question. I mean, it could be The Last of Us if you catch me in an emotive moment. I don't know. What's your favourite game? That's the question. The same thing for Bibby is what's his favourite game? Bibby has thousands of favourite games. It depends on the minute that you catch him on. It changes. Bacon Chin.
Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh, there you go. Resident 2 remake. Easy. Bacon Chin, thank you with another gift there. Lucas 2792, enjoy the gifted sub. Lucas, if you're in the chat, please do feel free to thank Bacon Chin for the gift there. Appreciate that. Jack says, things are good, just chilling, needing my ice cream gaming info. Well, we're just about to bring you that now. So if you didn't see our social media posts, our lead story of the day was quite big news yesterday. It's an interesting one because it's not the biggest news, but there's all sorts of questions that come off the back of this. Not negative questions, but just thinking questions. So yesterday, PlayStation acquired UK-based games development studio Firesprite. They are based in London. They used to essentially be PlayStation a million years ago. Not quite a million years ago, but they were PlayStation. They weren't PlayStation. And now PlayStation has just bought them again. So my questions come off the back of that is why now? Why the day before a conference? I mean, well, there's all sorts of questions that come off that. Anyway, we'll jump into that. That's the lead story of the day. We'll then follow that, sticking with PlayStation. We'll jump into the fact that PS5 exclusive Spider-Man is confirmed to become to Marvel's Avengers in 2021. So this is a story that has had all sorts of, I won't go as far as controversy, but there's been conversations around this in many ways, shape, or form because it's been delayed. The fact that it's exclusive to one platform and not another, on a game that is available on multi-platforms. So anyway, we'll jump into that. It is coming to PS5 finally later in 2021. Then we jump into the news that PUBG Mobile has earned $270 million in just August. In just August. PUBG Mobile earned $270 million. Wow. Okay. It beats other games to the top of the table, including Genshin Impact, which is also a money churner, Honor of Kings, Pokemon Go, and others. We'll go through all of that. Plus, we then move ahead to the fact that Riot Games' Valorant reportedly won't run on PCs that bypass Windows 11 system requirements. So if you want to play some Valorant, you have to follow rules. Them's the rules. And then finally, if you want to play Madden 2022, it's free this weekend. We'll tell you how you can play that. But first, Bib.
Yes.
Firesprite Studios. Do you know much about them?
I know that they did Run Sackboy Run, and they used to do Wipeout. I'm sure there was another game as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head what that was. Hopefully they'll say it in the article as well.
The Playroom.
I can't remember what other game it was. It was another big game anyway, and I can't remember what it was.
Well, let's see if it does mention it.
Got history.
Yeah, they do. They used to be a Sony studio themselves, but the article says it, so I won't steal all this thunder. We'll jump into that. This is written by Tom Phillips at Eurogamer, and it says PlayStation acquires UK-based Firesprite, which is a 250-person team and includes former Sony Liverpool talent. Into the body of the article, then PlayStation has bought Firesprite, the large Liverpool-based team which previously helped work on PS4 Freebet The Playroom. The company becomes the 14th developer officially on board as a PlayStation studio, Sony said today. This was yesterday. There's no word yet on what Firesprite will work on next, though the company has quietly grown to quite a size, 250 people, after being founded by the remnants of Wipeout developer Sony Liverpool, which PlayStation shuttered in 2012. I mean, for me, first off, the fact that that was 9 years ago is ridiculous. I literally, in my mind, genuinely, this is not one of those, oh, fucking hell, I can't believe that's 9 years ago. I genuinely thought it was about 3 or 4 years ago. Wow. Anyway, Firesprite has become known for its work with VR, such as the Playroom VR and its sci-fi horror, the Persistence VR. More recently, Firesprite has re-released the latter project for PC and all last-gen consoles. Today's deal brings Firesprite's talents back firmly in-house. In an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, PlayStation Studios boss Herman Hulst appeared to play down the suggestion Firesprite's next project would also be VR-based. Not necessarily, Holst said. Clearly, the expertise that Firesprite has gained on their work with the Persistence and the Playroom is something that they bring to the table. It's too early to talk about what specific platforms or experiences that we're going to collaborate on with Firesprite, but that experience is very valuable. The team is growing, improving, and maturing very quickly, Hulse continued. The ambition level of the projects that we have started, I think, really benefits from us working together very closely and nurturing Firesprite into one of the great PlayStation Studios outfits. Firesprite's acquisition follows other recent purchases of Housemarque and I never know how to pronounce this. Is it Nix's? Nix's? Nick? Yeah. Who's next? Question mark. A reminder. We're due to hear more from PlayStation tonight on its plans for the future of PS5. Tune in to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads at 9 p.m. UK time. Oh, it didn't actually say the Ice Cream Uploads bit in the article. I thought it did, but it didn't. But that's facts anyway. Facts. So, PlayStation acquires UK-based Firesprite, team formerly very closely associated with PlayStation. Ish. What are your thoughts, babe? What are your thoughts?
Why now? You have actually got in your drawer a copy of Wipeout as well, haven't you, in work?
I have.
Was that for the PS4?
It was PS4. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, why now? What we getting that's going to be a little bit different? I mean, it's obviously a UK-based company now, so they'll have people working over these shows, which is nice to be able to have PlayStation representative studios over here, or more of them. So that's nice. But why now? What is it that they're working on? Is Wipeout going to be making a comeback? We've seen games previously that have been in delayed Dortmund. Like, for instance, Alan Wake, 10 years later, that's coming back.
They've been late Dortmund.
Yes, they have. Dortmund. Yeah, we've got Alan Wake that's coming back out. There was another game as well recently that's made a comeback. Oh, Dead Space. Like, these games have been dead and buried for like 10, 12 years. So are we going to be getting another Wipeout because it's a new PlayStation console? Are we expecting a Wipeout every single gen? Like, I don't know, but it's exciting that there's going to be more studios because the last 18 months has been hard for a lot of video game studios. They've not been able to meet and reach deadlines. They've not been able to potentially make as much money as they would have liked. That maybe would have spawned sequels that we potentially never going to get now. So the fact that PlayStation is taking in these studios now and giving them a new lease of life, if they was on the verge of being bankrupt, like, this is fantastic for the video game community as a whole, regardless of who it is that's bought them. It means that there's going to be money being put through more studios, and genuinely, it's a win-win for everyone at this point.
Yeah, see, my questions. I mean, I have multiple different angles to come at this from questions. How the hell has Firesprite got to a 250-person team working on 2 VR games that I'd never even heard of? What?
Yeah.
Which then makes me think, okay, if they've worked on, obviously I've heard of the Playroom for PS4, never really played it. I did the early PS4 days, fired it up, had a look at it, didn't have VR headset or anything, so didn't ever go back to it. Okay, I know a lot of people did some stuff with it, but Playroom VR, actually, I've heard of Playroom VR, obviously, but Persistence VR, I couldn't tell you what that is. but 250 staff working at
Yeah.
that. I mean, the fact that they've worked on PlayStation titles in the past, and the fact that they've been doing VR things and so on, I'm wondering if this is not just a recent announcement, but this has been something that's a long time coming. You tend to get deals where, particularly with things like VR, we've covered it in the past. I think it was about 18 months, maybe 24 months ago, we covered a story that PlayStation funds indie developers. They have a big pot of money based on VR, and probably the same thing for other things, that they will give to developers to make things with VR in mind for first-party usage, i.e. you're working on VR, do some stuff for PSVR, and we will give you R&D costs, we will give you all of this sort of stuff. So I'm thinking maybe there's been things there in the past where PlayStation have been funding Firesprite to do their work on VR, but then that's gone. Actually, these guys have still got all of these talented staff, still got all of these ideas. Maybe not just in VR, maybe in racing games, maybe just in development in general. Herman Hulst and the rest of the people at PlayStation have then gone, actually, looks like this could be a decent asset for PlayStation Studios. 24 months ago, they might have gone, do you know, we don't need to buy them, we're working with them. But then all of a sudden they realised that Xbox has gone, hey, we can buy studios too. And PlayStation's gone, yeah, we'll take that one, we'll take that one. We put a lot of money in this, developing all this VR stuff. We don't want to give all of that to Xbox right now. So that it doesn't surprise me that they have been snapped up. It's a studio that was dissolved from PlayStation, Sony Liverpool, not PlayStation Liverpool, Sony Liverpool, which was a PlayStation studio. They closed that in 2012. So there's clearly a lot of stuff there. Right through from logistics and infrastructure, through to hardware, through to personnel. There's probably a lot of stuff there of value. So it doesn't surprise me that PlayStation have snapped that up. What kind of does surprise me, though, is the fact that they've mentioned this the day before the showcase. That's, I mean, what Xbox does is world premiere. Do you know what? Let's voice mod it. World premiere. Like, you get those sort of announcements in an Xbox showcase, and they like go, yeah, we've just snapped up Ninja Theory or whatever. Was it Xbox or was that a PlayStation one? I can never remember anymore. Everyone's bought everything. But Xbox has announced multiple studios in their conferences. PlayStation has announced new studio acquisitions in their conferences. So why not this? Is this something that's only just gone over the line and they want to mention it? Is this something that they want to mention but then want to briefly mention again in their conference? Do they have so much stuff in their conference tomorrow that this didn't even command column inches? It's interesting. It's interesting that they've kept it. We criticised Halo for having big announcement, not Halo, Xbox for having big Halo announcements not in their conference. This is a big announcement that they've just thought, do you know what, we don't even need to save it for our conference. So should we be expecting a big show tonight off the back of this? What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, having the bit.
So many things
I'm
to
trying
think.
to put it into words. Yeah, there genuinely is though. Like you said, in regards to the Halo stuff, they missed it at their own conference and then added it the next day. But this is obviously nowhere near that kind of caliber. You can't even compare them. They're so far apart. But having something like this being told the day before, does that mean that they're potentially going to be showing something off today? Is it going to be like a return to Wipeout today? I mean, Wipeout was a big game back in the PlayStation 1. Like, I don't think there's a gap in the market for a game like Wipeout now. There's obviously there's a massive cult following for Wipeout, don't get me wrong. It's exactly the same with F-Zero. F-Zero is probably a little bit more popular than Wipeout, but are we at a point where there's a gap in the market for a game like this? Now, this is just purely speculation. It's only because they previously worked on Wipeout that I'm even mentioning the fact, because it could be something completely different. But if you've got a studio that's had that previously in their locker, and 250 people for a studio is a fucking big studio. That is massive. Like, imagine that studio went into liquidation, everyone got made redundant. That's it. 250 staff, very good coders, very good workers are just
Level
being let go,
architects,
and then
artists,
the whole studio, 250 people is a lot. That's a big studio. So have they acquired them to be able to work on something bigger than Wipeout? Have they had something in the pipeline that no one's seen before? And then they've obviously pitched to Sony. Sony have gone, that's dynamite, let's get them in. Who knows? This is also, but this is the best part of why we love working in video games, why we love talking about them, because It's all speculation until we actually see something. Like, this is all excitement towards people potentially watching tonight and going, okay, they've obviously got something up their sleeve. What is it that we're going to be seeing tonight? This is this is like this is E3 Gamescom-esque type announcements being done the day before that leads to more speculation. Like, this is the reason why we're in it in the first place. Trying to find words, but I can't wait for something like this. This is bigger news off of the back of smaller news. If that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah.
yesterday was the seed being planted. What is that going to lead to tonight when it's fully grown?
Yeah, I mean, and even if they don't put anything in tonight, it's still good to see PlayStation. They are doing things. The awkward thing, I think, from looking at this as a PlayStation angle, and the reason I mentioned PlayStation angle is because Tina's mentioned Xbox angle in the chat. All by myself. But from a PlayStation angle, PlayStation are doing things, but they're not saying things. I mean, they've said this now, but this is still not really a saying thing. Or like, this is a doing thing behind the scenes. Oh, we've bought Firesprite. Why? It's like, yeah, but why? I know you keep making the smug stuff's happening, but we as users don't know, which it's fine enough for us because we can just keep sitting there and looking at everything as it goes on and day by day, but the 80% of the audience that just want to know where the feck are the PlayStation games, that don't keep up to date with the latest news and aren't sitting there patiently waiting, that the selfish gamers want to know Xbox are doing all these things and saying all these things and releasing all these updates and stuff, and you just bought a studio that I didn't know existed, that worked on games that I didn't know existed, and have 250 staff that I didn't even know existed. Why? What? So I feel like PlayStation are doing, like, if it was a chess game, they're putting their pieces quietly. You're not seeing this acquisition of Firesprite is one of the pawns just coming out to the left kind of thing. I mean, I don't know enough about chess. I saw it in the news last night, which is why it's in my mind. So I'm now going to use chess as the analogy, but completely not actually mention chess phrases because I don't know what they are. Basically, they're putting all their pieces in place by buying, Nick says, or working with that Heaven Studios thing or whatever it was that there was a few months back where they took someone from Google Stadia head or whatever. They've been doing a lot of that sort of stuff. So they're putting things in place, heading towards the eventual end game checkmate. But right now, we're just looking at a boring game of chess. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do something. The meme poking it with a stick. Do something. Do something. But PlayStation that's the thing. We just don't know. So it's good to see life in the old beast yet.
So do you genuinely think that they've got a balcony announcement tonight? Because at the moment, like I say, it's just stuff that's just been written on a post-it note and then hope that someone finds it. But do you reckon that they've got something to shout about tonight?
I do. I genuinely do. Because if they didn't have anything, we criticized Xbox for having too much time, not enough substance. We said, okay, you had an announcement and then you showed us a trebuchet. You had an announcement and then you spoke about it for 6.5 minutes. PlayStation have kept it down to 50 minutes-ish, 45, 40 minutes, whatever, somewhere around that ballpark.
Short and snappy, hopefully.
Yeah, but even that level of short and snappy, this is a short and snappy announcement. We've bought the studio. They've done some cool stuff. We're not going to tell you what they're working on. That could have been a short and snappy announcement, but that didn't make it in. They've announced that the day before. That makes me think, okay, there's some stuff there. And then if you rewind a week, the amount of excitement from journalists around the tweet that I showed last week, Andy Platonic, aka Andy from VGC. I always get his name wrong. Robertson. Andy Robertson.
I think it's Robinson.
Oh, I always got the wrong one.
I know.
But it's just like,
sorry, Andy.
Yeah, sorry, mate. It's just like fucking Greg James from Kind of Funny. Greg Miller. But
you cannot be the only person that does that, though.
I know. I also could be. But like you said last week, expect a super announcement. What does that mean? Expect a super announcement. Nobody says super announcement without meaning. Yeah. And that tweet got hundreds of retweets, thousands. Of likes. It could have had thousands of retweets by the end. By the time when I looked at it, it was like 400 retweets and like 1,200 likes or something. Whereas previous tweet had 3. retweets. So
Yeah.
people know something and aren't saying something. So I expect there to be something. If he's dropping sneaky hints like that, expect something. I would be hugely surprised if they have a studio acquisition announcement the day before a showcase takes place and they don't even save it for that. Then they have to be having some good stuff in and amongst that showcase throughout.
Yeah.
Surely. So I expect it to be a good watch tonight. If you want to see it all, do feel free to join us. 9 p.m. the show kicks off. We'll be live from around 8:45 tonight to go through all of that. Do feel free to join us. Anyway, let's jump back through the chat because there has been a lot of comments. King says, shooting and fighting games, all games, but looter shooters, any game. Nice. Well, we play a lot of that, so feel free. If you want to see looter shooters, then join us for PUBG, because we spend a fuckload of time looting, and then you get to see other people shooting. Netflix says, I watch you guys more than Netflix, so it makes sense. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that.
It. Thank you.
Also, by the way, complete off tangent, there was a series that I watched last year. Me and Daniel watched it off the recommendation of Mr. Bamber called Into the Night on Netflix, and it was basically some people that had to keep flying around the world on an aeroplane because there was some virus that killed everyone that was in sunlight. If the sunlight was on you, you died, basically. It was a bizarre concept, but it was actually a pretty good watch. Anyway, season 2's out now, I got told last night, so that's what I'm watching on Netflix soon. Yeah. Elsewhere, jumping back into the chat, Tito says, bloody Sony buying all these studios. Bloody Sony having all these exclusives. And then that's when Vern said, Xbox Live is a killer air. And then Tito was the, oh, mama, say yeah. Jack says, in August, no wonder they focus on mobile. That was PUBG news, by the way, if you didn't catch it. We'll jump in on that one shortly. But PUBG made 270 million on mobile just in August. Yikes. Vern says, Forza, Gears of War, Halo, 3 reasons to question your loyalty. Yeah, exactly. Mad says, Sony and Microsoft buying studios like it's game of Monopoly. Sony need another two VR studios for a bonus revenue. That's it. Shit, we got need to box things off. Wipeout was the reason I wanted the PS1. The Wipeout Trilogy remastered release was the most recent. Was good, but not great. Not sure if it's the genre. If it's the genre has had its time or if there's still life in it yet. I mean, that was something that Bibby said that I kind of went, Bibby thought F-Zero was bigger than Wipeout. I mean, I played a lot of F-Zero on the SNES sort of days, and I know it had games on, was it GameCube or 64?
Yeah, GameCube, 64 as well. We've actually got a copy of F-Zero in my drawer where the N64 is in the office.
Well, because I went down PlayStation route at that point, F-Zero dropped off for me, but Wipeout was I want to compare it to Tony Hawk, but I won't necessarily say it's that far. But Wipeout was a very significant release for PlayStation. It was huge at that point in time, and there was also some sort of stuff with the soundtracks. Wipeout was instrumental in adding soundtracks to video games, which is where I draw the comparisons with Tony Hawk, because it was one of the first games that started to get musicians interested in putting their songs in video games, because Wipeout started to get eyes on the tracks within their games. So
I'm fairly certain New Order did some stuff for Wipeout as well.
It might have been.
I'm fairly certain it might have been Chemical Brothers. I can't remember, but obviously this is off the back of. I'm not saying it's based off of the Manchester scene, but you had things like Acid House and the Hacienda, the type thing. So that music was extremely relevant and popular at the time. And we're talking about the mid-90s at this point, when the Hacienda was massive in the early 90s, late 80s.
I mean,
kind of thing.
The annoying thing is we don't really remember the details because we were quite young, and the people that were old enough to remember it don't remember the details because it was the mid-90s and it was the Acid House Hacienda scene, so they don't remember anything anymore.
You can't fucking remember anyway, yeah. They're only just waking up from the early 90s.
But yeah, I mean, it's down. Obviously, it's down to interpretation. I mean, it's probably down to sales and stuff, and people might be able to give numbers for it. But what would you think? I mean, I would always have thought Wipeout was bigger than F-Zero, but that's probably because I was through PlayStation's life, whereas F-Zero was kind of. I have fond memories of the SNES version, and that's kind of it. But like Madge says, I agree. Has that genre had its day? I think it has.
I do too.
I was talking about I've played all sorts of racing games, the F-Zeros, the Wipeouts, the CODs, the whatever. Not CODs. What's Colin McRae? I don't know where I got COD from, but they call McRae.
GTA racing at this point, you know what I mean? Is that a viable option?
So I mean, that is just down to it's it's racing, but without vehicle physics because you're floating.
Yeah.
The vehicle physics are much dampened, so it's kind of like simplified racing. It doesn't have as much for me. Whereas something like I said, if I'm going to get back into a racing game, Forza Horizon, with having a bit more story about it, that's probably kind of going to be more like where I jump back into racing games. Fantastic series back in the day. Soundtrack was always on point with the adrenaline pumping gameplay, says Vern. That original sequel had soundtracks I loved. Again, the last one was dry, says Madge. Mr. T says Wipeout was a product of the time on the PlayStation. High octane racing with a club thumping soundtrack. Music was part of that pop culture, was a huge reason why it did so well, and a result of the PlayStation console. And as a result, the PlayStation console itself. Now in 2021, Beyond, Wipeout is not as relevant as a game, and PlayStation as a brand has moved on. Agreed, fully agreed. That's to say, this acquisition is not for Wipeout. It's for a few. It's for new projects and maybe a Wipeout-like game at some point. I agree with that as well. I do agree with that.
That's what I mentioned before. Like, you've got 250 people there that bought it. I reckon they've pitched something to Sony, and Sony have gone, "Yep, that's great. We'll take it." It's just I was using the Wipeout as the example because obviously that's what they've been known for. Not to say that they're not going to do something like that again, but if you've got a studio that strong, you mentioned it before as well that they've made 2 VR games that both went over mine your head, but we're not VR players. But they've obviously done well enough to be able to maintain and keep the level of staff. As I said, 250 people is a lot of people to have in your company. So yeah, they're obviously doing something right and definitely worth the money that that PlayStation have stumped up, or Sony, shall we say?
Yeah, for sure. You're buying the history. You can stick Wipeout and the nostalgia all over your stuff again because it's now a first-party title that you own the rights to, essentially, because you own the studio. Well, I mean, they own that anyway. But like, they've got the dev. You can use that in all of the story stuff there. Plus, a talented team. Not only that, for us specifically at Ice Cream Uploads, it's nice having more video game representation in the Northwest as well, because a lot of video game stuff is London, is Guildford, is if not Surrey, it's Windsor. It's all kind of down south. Yeah, there are some pockets and some smaller businesses like that scattered around. We do have TT Games and stuff in this sort of region. And obviously, GTA is everywhere. Rockstar Leeds, Rockstar North, kind of stuff like that. And Glasgow and the rest. But it's nice to get another big Sony thing in the Northwest. So, yeah, just plonk a Sony Studios in Liverpool. We'll take that. It's fine. Finishing off with the chat before we jump ahead then. Pretty much that. Asim says Madge in agreement with Mr. T, and also from what I saw earlier, congrats on the to the devs on the NBA 2K22 release. GG's. I mean, it looks alright, I suppose. If you like realistic looking plays in your games, not so sure. It's not. No, nah. I was watching DBG. I don't know. It's fortunate to get a code from 2K UK. Nice. Colin McRae, PS1 Day, says Vern. Oh, amazing, absolutely amazing. I used to adore like racing games at that point in time. I wanted a Subaru Impreza WRX STI version with the full blue and like stars and. But now, no, don't even want to play Colin McRae or racing games at all. It's amazing how chimes change. Bacon Chin says I used to restart races if the Prodigy wasn't playing. I mean, understandable. Yeah, let's go! Yeah. That wasn't a dog, by the way. That was the start of Firestarter, if you couldn't quite tell what that was. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move ahead. Sticking with PlayStation, though. Andy Robinson, not Robertson, Graham, Robinson at VGC says Marvel's Avengers PS5 exclusive Spider-Man is confirmed for 2021. Crystal Dynamics promises more info closer to release. DBG is a streamer on Twitch from Ireland. Well, there you go. Marvel's Avengers PS5 exclusive Spider-Man character will release before the end of the year. Developer Crystal Dynamics has confirmed Spider-Man will be available only on PlayStation platforms when it arrives in 2021, the developer said in a community update on Wednesday. Quote, we'll have more information on Spider-Man closer to launch and you may catch a glimpse of him here and there along the way. The confirmation ends lengthy silence around the Spider-Man DLC, which had originally been scheduled for early 2021, but was delayed to later in the year after the game's troubled launch resulted in its first 2 new characters being pushed back. Crystal Dynamics Associate Art Director Jeff Adams gave fans a taste of what to expect from the Spider-Man content in a PlayStation blog announcement post last August. Quote, when Spider-Man comes to our stable of heroes, we'll be making his debut with an in-game event that will introduce him to the wider world of Marvel's Avengers, he wrote. The event is comprised of a series of unique challenges for the hero to take on, testing his abilities and yielding some exciting results. And like the rest of our heroes in Marvel's Avengers, we will offer multiple cosmetic outfits and gameplay experience options so you can make your vision of the wall crawler a reality. Elsewhere in the latest Avengers roadmap, Crystal Dynamics has confirmed in-game events, new content, system updates, quality of life features, and more. Quote, we have many plans beyond this most recent roadmap update that stretch into the late winter and beyond, including addressing long-standing asks to quality of life improvements to new heroes, villains, and more, wrote studio head Scott Amos. On behalf of everyone across the world who works and plays on Marvel's Avengers, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you for playing, building, supporting, challenging, believing, and assembling. Please continue to share your feedback online. It remains our compass for the future as we are one team, one dream. I mean, you had me until those last 4 lines, but that was horrendous. That 4 words should have said.
That was straight out of the Grey Playbook. What are you talking about?
One team, one dream. Oh my, no, you had me. You had me sold. I actually, I mean, I'm still not on board with the PS5 exclusive Spider-Man because I don't like any form of exclusives. But it's the world we live in. Spider-Man being exclusive PS5 and not available on Xbox is shit for Xbox users. But Xbox buying their own brands and making them exclusive for them is shit for PlayStation users. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. But okay. We've gone over that. We'll put a pin in that. That conversation has been done. It just is what it is. Nice to see it finally come in. But do you know, I do actually. I'm gonna say I played Avengers not for long, but I played Avengers at launch on stream, and it was okay. It was actually better than okay. It was good. It was really good from what I played. But I played the 2 hours that you get at the start that are meant to be good, to give you a taste of everything. Then you start the grind. And I didn't start the grind. I was going to come back to it, but you know, it's like with content creation. Sometimes other games come along, sometimes other things don't come along. And sometimes the game that you're about to come back to, like Marvel's Avengers, turns out to be a little bit empty, a little bit. I don't want to use the word garbage, but you get what I'm saying. Not what you expected, not what you wanted. So I didn't jump back into it because it was like, okay, well, the content is not there for what I wanted to deliver into it. But they are doing a lot to bring this around. We were just talking just on Monday, Tuesday, about how Hello Games has just, after 5 years, brought No Man's Sky, the true video game redemption story. They've brought it back. I'm not sure that Crystal Dynamics will be able to achieve that with Marvel's Avengers because the economies of scale, the sizes of audiences, the amount of reviews that Avengers will need to overcome a down period is much more significant than something like No Man's Sky would have done. But it's good to see them still plugging away and adding more. Just that one paragraph. Beyond this most recent roadmap that stretches into the late winter, including long-standing tasks, addressing long-standing tasks to add quality of life improvements, new heroes, villains, and more. Like this, they're just doing so much in this game to keep adding into it. I mean, you could argue that, okay, they started below par. This is getting them up to par rather than pushing them ahead and making them be something more than it could be. But if they keep going at the pace they are, then they will get past that point. You'll be past break even in terms of level enjoyment. It will be a great game. So fair play to them. I mean, I know that there's a lot of money invested in this IP, so they kind of have to do that. But they also doesn't necessarily mean it just because they have to do it. Doesn't mean that it happens. But they are doing it. So GG's.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, babe?
I was going to say something really shitty then, but I'll refrain from putting it as bluntly as that.
Come on.
No, fuck it, I will.
Be a dick. Let's go.
Yeah. Do you think this is the thing that's going to bring Avengers up to speed? Considering it's only on one console. So the other consoles or PC that's been able to run it don't have the opportunity and they don't have the specific missions and things like that you've got with the Black Panther DLC stuff that's recently come out as well, that added new stuff. And I think they had Hawkeye as well recently.
Yeah.
There was another character as well that's gone out my head. That was also some more campaigny stuff, but it's been out over a year now. I think. Was it at the end of last year that it came out? I can't remember. I want to say 12 months. There or thereabouts.
Yeah, there or thereabouts.
do you think that Spider-Man, especially for the PlayStation market, is fantastic? They're getting free content, but not having Spider-Man on the other platforms is not going to do anything for the player base of the other platforms. This isn't the saving grace, is it?
Nah, nah, not at all, not at all. And I think I'm not even sure that it has that. I don't know if this game has that in it because something like No Man's Sky had no precedent. It didn't have a community that wanted a specific thing in mind. It was finding its own community. It was developing its own community. And in essence, there's probably going to be case studies on it because, in essence, it created a community that was let down, which allowed them to create a community as they went. Then, it was kind of like finding a diamond in the rough kind of thing. It was like, okay, we fucked up the game. But that allowed us to just go out into the wilderness and speak to the community and work with them to bring things back. And it essentially the community grew with them. Whereas the Marvel community exists, you didn't meet their expectations. You were already having issues with the fact that Thor is not Chris Hemsworth. It's like Cross Hemsworth. And it's like
The Wish.com versions.
yeah, it's like Robin Donut Junior as Iron Man kind of thing. And nobody wants Robin Donut Jr. I mean, I'll take a donut, please. But like, you were already a bit difficult because you were guaranteed sales, but you weren't guaranteed success by using something that people already have preformed opinions on. Add to that the fact that it just didn't have anything. It lacked a point. It lacked. There you go. It's off top of the screen, so I can't see who it is. Let me scroll up. Mr. T lacked substance. There you go. It's lacking substance. Let me read the comment. Finished the campaign and never went back. For me, mistake was going live service, Destiny style, in brackets. Would have preferred it to be single player or 4-player co-op campaign with DLCs further down the line. The live service stuff meant it was bloated, full of filler outside the campaign, lacking substance. I mean, that's the thing. Is like you building on an IP where people have impressions, people have existing relationships, and then you do that badly. Is bringing Spider-Man in on one side of a platform divide enough? No, it's not. Is fixing it to its entirety enough? Probably no, it's not, because even just the fact that you've got Robin Donut Jr. And Cross Homsworth and the rest, people aren't asked at that point. You've already, okay, I'll give it a try. Okay, it wasn't what I wanted, and now it's a bit gash, so I'm gonna get rid of it, and I'm never gonna come back. Even if you fix it down the line, the one chance at a first impression sort of thing, for a lot of people, that will be the case. But I mean, if they can add substance, if they can tweak the content to the point where an Avengers 2 comes along, then that could be something interesting. They could set the groundwork for the Guardians game that's that doesn't quite look it. How can I put it? I mean, that game hasn't sold itself to me either, but they can start to set the groundwork for future games going forward, which would be good steps. Do I ever think this is salvageable to the point where I can see it being Destiny in terms of its success? No, I don't ever think this game will get to that level.
It's a shame because I've obviously paid a lot for the licenses and stuff, but I just don't think that there's not a decent enough foundation to be able to build on. It feels like they're just crammed everything into a game and then see if something will stick, which is a massive shame because it's such a big franchise. Like, I don't need to tell you how big the Avengers franchise is, do I? Or any of the Marvel characters. Everybody knows it. But it's such a shame that it's not being represented. I think the Guardians game for me is definitely a game that I will 100% be playing. I think it's got all the makings and all the hallmarks of a very interesting and entertaining game. I don't see that with this. I mean, technically, if you put them side by side, they are two completely different types of games. One's an RPG, the other one's a live service, nearly an MMO at this point. But I can't see it. I genuinely can't see it, which is upsetting on a lot of fronts.
Do you know what's not upsetting? Getting a raid from Big Hamish. Hey! Thank you very much for the raid, Mr. Hamish. Anarchy Max, Kane, Alreed, Tamler Soul, how's things, dude? And Chaos, everyone's here. Hey, how you doing? Welcome into the stream. We are talking about the fact that Marvel's Avengers is coming to PS5. Well, it's not on PS5, but Spider-Man is coming to PS5, which is a downside for a lot of you guys that are coming in, because I know a lot of you guys that are dropping in are Xbox users, so you guys don't get this, and that's kind of one of the things that we're crunching is this enough to save Marvel's Avengers. A lot of people were hyped for this game. Some people still do really enjoy this game. If anyone, by the way, I'll give him a shout out because it's his birthday as well. But Bob Duck and Weave on Twitch, he's actually live right now. It's his birthday today, but he plays a lot of Marvel's Avengers content, and I've dropped into his channel quite a few times. And he plays Avengers. He's liking the direction that they're going. And for someone like Bob Duck and Weave, the game has done a lot to turn it around. They had his attention throughout the dark days, and now he's getting great days for himself. But is that enough for other people? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that because the game went to that live service model, Destiny with a Marvel skin doesn't necessarily give you what you want. The way Asim said it, in terms of going for single player or 4-player co-op campaign, you want stories as a Marvel viewer. That's what the whole cinematic universe is. It's 25 years of stories. That's what the comics are, actual stories. Playing through the game and just grinding for the sake of grinding is not Marvel. And that's where the issue is. Yes, you've got a great IP that will bring people in, but that's not what people are coming in for. So you've paid for a skin that doesn't necessarily sell the product, or the product is different from what the skin sells, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's why you'd hope something like Midnight Suns will pick up the difference. I mean, you can't really compare them because one, it's a completely different genre of game, and two, it's a completely different studio that's working on it. But you'd expect Midnight Suns to have a nice story behind it, like you're playing through it. Like, I don't see that being shown anywhere. I don't see enough people talking about the Marvel Avengers stuff.
I mean,
for it to be worthwhile.
I think part of the reasoning for that, though, is Crystal Dynamics, do yourself a favor, reach out to 2K and ask them to make your trailers, because that Midnight Suns trailer was better than. I mean, the Guardians trailer, when you watch it with the music it was supposed to have had, it sounded good. It was good. But the Midnight Suns one was better. Fact. That's what it was. And that's not my style of game. It was better. So
that's the only criticism I had on that, is that I wish we could have had the Metallica version of the song, but I imagine that would have cost an absolute fortune and probably isn't the vibe that they probably would have gone for. But as a Metallica fan, that would have been absolutely fire. But yeah, that's genuinely, it's a very small criticism about this big, but yeah, I think it coming in with the heavy riffs would have fucking melted people's faces off. But they probably don't want that for little kids. They're going, Mum and Dad, why is there a racket happening on this trailer? But
we're off to Neverland. Anyway, if you didn't catch the news, Marvel's Avengers, Spider-Man is coming to the PS5. It was supposed to be here in early 2021. It was delayed, then kind of got moved back, and we can confirm it will be here before the end of 2021. Jumping back to the chat, Jack says Xbox noobs, Kappa. Touche. Jumping back up a little bit further, because there was a few comments I missed. I feel like it won't be long until I have to buy a PS5 to not fall behind. I think you've probably got 12 months, maybe a bit longer, because of the delays. They can't really afford to cut away the PS4 audience. There's no install base to make games financially viable, which is why I think we've had a lot of slowdown on the PlayStation news. I think they were hoping to, because one of the things they said was, we believe in generations. There was the PS4, and then there's the PS5, and they are different. And then Xbox was like, yeah, well, we'll make games for the Xbox One and the Series X and your phone if you've got the X Cloud, and you can play it across all of them. PlayStation's like, you play your inferior cross-platform games. We've got the PS4 and then the PS5. And then it's like, shit, nobody can get hold of the PS5. Okay, we'll release all our games for the PS4 as well then. So I think you're okay for now. Soon, I don't doubt that PlayStation will start chopping off the PS4 to do like a forward-thinking sort of game development plan. But I could be wrong. Anyway, continuing. Bibe, fact check. F-Zero sales 2.85 million. Wipeout 1.5 million. GG's Bib. He knows.
Hey, this is why I work in the video game industry. I need to know this shit.
You goddamn right.
Highly irrelevant pub quiz questions.
Which game sold the most?
Highly irrelevant stuff. A lot of useless information, but that's what you're all here for.
Which game that nobody plays anymore sold the most? I know this. Papa. Tito says, I'll be honest, I'm shocked it's gone on this long. I'm honestly not sure it's warranted. The expansions they've brought out, whilst good, haven't had longevity. It's still being produced as a single-player game, wrangled into a live service one, i.e. the DLC, our story expansions, and not modes or raids, etc., like you'd expect for a live service game. The replayability is low, and agreeing with Asim, it's not live service game in the slightest. Mr. T then goes on to say, this is why I'm very much looking forward to the Guardians of the Galaxy game, a focused, single-player, story-based game. Madge says, I went from pre-ordering hype to I'll very unlikely ever play Avengers because it's not single-player / co-op. We have the live service game in Marvel Heroes, and Gazillion / Marvel pulled the plug because of low player numbers / revenue generated. And I think that's down to it, though. It's like, you want a game that's going to get your eyes, Marvel. Stick Marvel on it, you will get eyes on it. Does that generate through to sales? It depends on whether you tell stories or not. Guardians of the Galaxy, single player, that is telling stories. Grinding to get yourself to level 56 with your Iron Man is not part of the story. That's not the Avengers sort of universe kind of stuff, which is, to draw comparisons to Midnight Suns again, you spend time in, what was the name of the mansion, the manor kind of house that you was it the Hideaway or something? It might not have even been that. Anyway, you live in the house with Wolverine and Ghost Rider and Blade and everything. You have to interact with them, do stuff with them to build up your character. It's not just empty numbers. It's relationship building. It's living in the environment, which is why I think that has the potential to be a much better way of building your players whilst having some story injection, because it's the story injection that keeps Marvel. Tito says, massive Marvel fan, normally love a grind game, but honestly can't be asked as the content is way too generic. I think it's too late now, says Timeless Soul. He left a bad first impression, hard to come back from that. Tito says, a year on, game is still pretty lacking, so I think it's dead, unfortunately. The concept of Tony Stark grinding for gear just doesn't make sense. Exactly. This is, like I said, Robert Donut Jr. It's not Robin Downey Jr. At the moment, it's still hard to get PS5 people. If they abandon PS4 too early, they got themselves shot themselves in the foot. Exactly. That's the thing. The install base, it was 120 million. We're probably about 15, I'd imagine. I don't know, 20 million PS5 sold ish, somewhere around that. Not enough. And I mean, it'd be a good chunk of cash, but not enough to sustain the loss of losing PS4. Timeless Soul says F-Zero needs to come back. You actually start off as Stark searching for all gear to piece together. Really? Okay. Sorry, guys, need to walk the dog. You guys have a good stream. Thank you very much, Thug. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that, dude. And Anarchy Max as well. Appreciate you dropping a follow too. Anyone that's coming from Hamish's stream, thank you very much. I just want to be the first to say, holy moly, but not with the same level of caliber as Hamish says it. But welcome in. Hey, how are you doing? So long as Sony get production up, Horizon is now a PS4 game and not a PS5 exclusive. That in itself tells the story of PS5 shortages. I think that could be the Abbey. There you go. That's the name of it. The Abbey, not the Hideaway. That's probably a different game. Yeah, the fact that game has come out is probably a need for that. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if working on PS5 has for a bit longer has kind of opened up developmental avenues that makes it easier to backwards port. Backwards compatible usually means things from the past come forward. So would forwards compatible mean things from the future go backwards? Yeah. I don't know.
That's essentially what the smart delivery is like, though, isn't it? It's scalable.
Exactly. And PlayStation never had that, probably because it was not technically possible, probably because it was just part of the marketing. But now they're at the point where they're having to do that. That could be just a case of it's something that they've unlocked with their development. But yeah, we'll see. 8 million a few months back. Yeah, that's kind of why I was like 10, 15, 20 at a push. I didn't think it would be any more than that. It probably isn't even up to that yet. But yeah, that's kind of why I was ballparking, because they are coming out a little bit faster now. Or it's just a case of the scalpers aren't trying to reach out as much because there's not as much profit to be made, so they're not doing it as much, although they are still flying off the shelves. At the end of the day, they'll do what's best for business, so not surprised that Horizon and other games are still released on PS4. 100%. Speaking of what's best for business, a speedy recovery for Triple H after his cardiac arrest. Some sweaty people news just for Tita 25. Yeah, Bibby shared that with me last night. That was the last thing I read before I fell asleep, and then didn't respond to it until this morning. So yeah, sounds like
heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah. Although if you look at the comments on social media, it was just all toxic, negative shit. Like, oh, that's the stress of working in the shit business. WWE is failing. AEW, this, that, and the other, and steroids. And it's like, fuck me, dude just had a fucking cardiac arrest. Chill out.
I was explaining this to Samantha last night when I found out. It's like it was like a week ago that we found out that Vince McMahon was taking over NXT, which is obviously like Triple H's baby, and this is obviously the reason why, because he had an heart attack last week and they need someone to be able to run the show. It wasn't because he's power mad, which you absolutely you can understand, but obviously something else has happened. Well, he's had an heart attack. He's gone into cardiac arrest. That's what's happened. So yeah, it's fucking heartbreaking.
It was me all along. Yeah, Triple H was never there. It was all Vince throughout. That's what it was. Anyway, putting a pin. That's what I'm trying to get to. Putting a pin in things. Let's move ahead. Let's talk about PUBG. Seeing as we had a raid from a PUBG streamer, we play PUBG too, and we will be playing PUBG a little bit later on today. By the way, join us as we jump in with Jack and potentially Beans a little bit later on. Although I actually haven't asked him yet, so it depends.
He'll be there.
Yeah,
he's been chatting. What's happening? He'll be disappointed if we don't ask.
Yeah, Beans, you're playing. End of facts. Anyway, PUBG news. However, this might not be the PUBG news that you're interested in. JON BITNER. I don't think we've had an article from him. Not that I remember. Anyway, JON BITNER at The Gamer has this news, but this is about PUBG Mobile and the fact that it earned $270 million in just August, beating Genshin Impact and Honor of Kings. Bonsai, thank you very much for the host, dude.
Hey.
Welcome to the chat as well. Hey, how you doing? PUBG Mobile continues to dominate. Actually, I'll read the tagline. Pokemon Go, meanwhile, has slid down the chart to the number 5 slot. So PUBG Mobile continues to dominate on iOS and Android, generating $270 million revenue in this past August. The month was a great one for mobile gaming in general, with a revenue of increase of more than 8% compared to the same time last year. PUBG Mobile narrowly beat out Honor of Kings, which had $256.2 million for the top spot in the charts. Meanwhile, Genshin Impact held steady in the number 3 slot, with Fate/Grand Order passing Pokemon Go and claiming the number 4 slot. Here's a quick look at the top 10 games. So just rounding out the top 10, we had Garena Free Fire at 6, Roblox 7, Candy Crush Saga at 8th, Coin Master in 9th place, and then Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Nice.
I don't even know if I should Google that. Fuck knows what it is, but I'm going to Google it.
Safe search on. Quote, Fate/Grand Order had its best month for 2 years in August 2021, generating $133.8 million in revenue, a rise of 13.6% from August 2020. Craig Chappell, mobile insight strategist at Sensor Tower, said the surge in player spending coincided with the title's 6-year anniversary celebrations. To date, the game has accumulated about $5.5 billion in lifetime revenue. PUBG Mobile remains one of the most popular mobile games on the market thanks to constant updates and events to keep its massive community engaged. It'd be interesting to see how these numbers change when PUBG New State arrives in the near future. Imagine that. A PUBG game that has constant updates and events to keep its community engaged.
Hey, what you want about? They've just introduced a new queue for you, haven't they? For you to be able to wait on a new map. Another queue with diluted players. Oh. No worries.
Well, to be fair, at the moment we have a queue for Just Tego, which is pretty much not possible to get into because it takes so long to get a game on it now. But in the next update, we will have a queue for Just Erangel, which is what people have wanted forever. However, that game will be Just Erangel with you and a maximum of 12 other players, and all the rest are bots. Fuck's sake!
That would work for me though. Like, I heard that it's a quick fire game. Like, you can, it might have even been in our Discord where you can only play the map 3 times. It might have been Wes that mentioned it. Like, you can play it's for the casual gamer to be able to drop in 3 games on that queue a day, and then you have to wait 24 hours for the next one. Pass.
That's it. It was. That's it. So you get a handful of games per day. It's meant to be. That's their new attempt at separating casual and core gamers. So it used to be a case of, okay, you've got normal games, public lobbies, and then ranked games. But then ranked games are super competitive and aren't. Some people maybe they aren't filling up enough, so them players are then jumping into the public lobbies, which makes them more difficult. Yeah. People are getting killed and not playing it, and then they add another lobby and blah, 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 whatever. So they've gone, okay, clearly the queue system, maybe adding the Tego stuff in, is weakening the queues. How do we do it? Let's add a different queue. But by making it only 12 players and Erangel only, I will probably play those games. If I know that I'm getting like 90 minutes ish of Erangel, off the bat, I'd probably just
dailies.
Yeah, well, that's it.
You are ticking them off in 3 games, aren't you? Let's be honest.
One game, it's like get a 100-meter headshot kill. Okay, there's a bot over there. There you go.
Yeah, you get 4 kills with the crossbow. Piece of piss, and you've got 99. Well, you've got 88 other bots there to be able to try and take out. You're good to go. But my question to you, Graham.
Just before you ask the question, I'm going to say one thing on that is the absolute mood killer when you drop in a hot drop thinking, fuck it, there's 88 bots. There's only 12 players, 88 bots. And then you die early on that game. If you're not making it to the top 10, that is a bad day.
That'll be. No, I'll die at 89th. You know what I mean? One away from just being able to play with everybody else. But yeah, that's an absolute meal killer. You'd have to turn it in. You'd have to uninstall it and never play it again.
Didn't want to play it anyway. Whatever. Not bothered.
But yeah, I've got 2 questions for you. First of all, is PUBG crossplay from PC and console? Or is it just console to console?
Just console to console, and then PC to PC, and then mobile to mobile.
Okay. Second question. It might actually be a 3-question approach at this point. Second question. Is the player base bigger on PC than it is on console, despite there being more ways to be able to play it on console?
Do you know what? I actually don't know. I don't know. I mean, looking at like things like Steam player charts, there's fucking hundreds of thousands of people playing. Obviously, I think that's heavily Asia skewed. I actually don't know anymore. For a long time, console was bigger, or we assume console was bigger, but I actually don't know anymore. The lobbies are dead on all of it, so I don't know. What do you? Does anyone else in the chat know that? I think it is, but
that's what my third question was going to be.
Okay, go on then, continue.
Why aren't we playing this on PC?
Do you know what? I actually want to. I actually want to start playing it on PC. The reason why I don't want to jump to PC is because we play with people. There you go, Lotus. So we're playing with Jack, we play with Lotus. I was playing with West. Well, were you playing with West as well the other day? Were you still on at that point?
I was. Yeah, I played 1 game with him and then moved because he joined.
But yeah, understandable. Okay, get out of here. So we've got some people that we play with. We don't have those sort of contacts for PC. That said, we played Chicken for Charity last year, and I don't know if you're aware that I killed all of overclockers on my own.
You're playing with controller, weren't you?
Yeah,
we'll leave that bit out. We'll leave that bit out. They don't need to know that. That's between us. Obviously.
Playing mouse and keyboard in 5 games. I got 2 kills, I think it was. Switch the controller, wipe out overclockers in the first game. Get out of here.
They don't need to know that. We'll keep that away from them. Nobody clip that.
But Chicken for Charity is coming back at some point this year, so we will probably be jumping back in for that again, and that's on PC. So I want to play on PC, because when you're playing against PUBG Reddit, which are PC players that play PUBG all the time, then you kind of
Premier League,
yeah, exactly. So where they're like Leyton Orient rocking up against fucking City full team kind of stuff, it's like bollocks. So yeah. We'll jump in. We'll jump in on PC. There we go. That's it. Done. Console gone. Get out of here. I mean, just make it crossplay. It's all good then. Everything's fine. It's fine. I mean, we'll play on PC. We'll get used to mouse and keyboard. And then when Jack jumps in with us and everyone else is like full on snap, double click, aimbotting as well, then yeah, it'll be fine.
See, I'd love keyboard and mouse to be a thing on console. Like, I know that's very controversial and people will probably kick off, but
that's what
like, more often than not. Yeah, well, yeah, he's got all the hacks, hasn't he? He's got rubber banding, he's got all the lag switches, he's got it all. Most games have aim assist. I don't know actually if PUBG does with controller, so you actually have a benefit of playing with controller against mouse and keyboard anyway.
PUBG doesn't, but then again, it doesn't have cross-device difficulties.
I'd love mouse and keyboard on console. That would be amazing. You can get, like, my brother plays Fortnite on his Xbox with his mouse and keyboard. Like, I love the fact that you can have filters on there and to be able to turn them off if you want. Like, that would be the next step, but that stuff might be introduced in PUBG too if it ever comes out. Who knows? They're clearly working on the new state stuff on mobile, which the world looks cool. I'd love that to come over to the console as well. I don't know if it ever will, but that's the kind of shit that would keep me wanting to be able to pick up a control and play it.
I don't think Baroness Strange agrees with you. Wow, baby, I'd hate that.
Well, it's just because genuinely, like, I'm speaking from my own experience and how I play video games, because why would I tell everyone else how to play their video games? But I'm just so used to playing mouse and keyboard now that just feels normal to me. So being able to play with the likes of you and PUBG and stuff, that'd be nice. We could just turn filters off. Filters should be on every single video game anyway. When you've got different ways of playing it, I think that's the probably easiest thing to be able to implement. But yeah, we're in a world where that doesn't seem to happen that often.
Yeah, I mean, Baker Chin has said play Fortnite. Right place to say that? We don't mind
Yeah,
Fortnite
well,
here.
yeah, I've genuinely got no shame in saying that I play Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Kylo Ren skin in Fortnite, so winner winner chicken dinner. Nice. Although victory royale, should have said, not winner winner chicken dinner. Completely different game. But yeah, Fortnite. I mean, that's kind of how their conversations came around addressing that. It's not a case of what format you're playing on. It's a case of how you're playing it. If you're playing against mouse and keyboard players, do you want to play against mouse and keyboard players? I mean, I don't know whether they actually ended up deploying it like that, but that was their initial conversation. Was it's not what you play on, it's what you play with. If it plays stable on a console, be that a Switch or an Xbox or a PlayStation, and it plays stable on PC. If you're all playing with controllers and everything's stable and there's no desync, touch wood, then that's fine. No matter what device it is. However, if you're playing mouse and keyboard, then there's different conversations to be had there.
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah, I mean, if you're half decent at keyboard, mouse and keyboard, I'd probably say you have an advantage over most people who play with a controller anyway. But that's where Call of Duty kind of came in and give you aim assist, and Fortnite to a degree as well. So there's always pros and cons. It's just whatever platform you're on, and it's a big disagreement subject. It's just personal preference, which is always why I'd say it's a personal preference, or in my opinion.
I mean, there is a lot of opinions on this in terms of, like, a lot of people think, well, the best console players don't need aim assist and can compete, and that is true for a very, very small number of people. But I've seen research. I can't quote who it was or where, but someone will be probably able to find it quite easily. They've done research into mouse and keyboard versus controller at high levels as well, and mouse and keyboard just wins. It's just functionally more free. Some people can hold their own with controller. Like, you throw a Gagod with a controller into a mouse and keyboard lobby, it's going to do pretty well. Probably better than others, but yeah.
Look at the Doc and Z-Laner. Z-Laner plays with a controller, Doc plays with mouse and keyboard. Z-Laner wipes the floor with Dr. Dev. Z-Laner's a fucking phenomenal player anyway. And so is the Doc, because let's not forget, Doc is an absolute baller when it comes to playing first-person shooters. But Z-Laner is just next level, and he rips it up on the controller anyway. But I mean, I am a person who doesn't particularly play PUBG unless I'm playing with you versus the entire chat that is PUBG heavy. So yeah, my opinion is definitely outweighed on this one. But yeah, my opinion should never go forward to be able to change a game like that anyway, because I have so little interest, emotion towards the game. So yeah, I mean, if I had the option to be able to play it and it was an option, fucking dead right, I'm plugging my mouse and keyboard in, because I think I would do a lot better than I would do on the sticks. But again, personal preference and what I'm used to.
I mean, I am up for trying some PC game, some PC PUBG. I did try it a couple of weeks back, and I don't, not this latest. Obviously, the patch that's just gone live on PC. Obviously, went to PC test servers last week. I don't know if that was update 12.3, 13.2, whatever fucking number it is. But roll it back one update before, I did try that. I tried to play the PUBG PC test server, and the stream dropped out about 5 times in about half an hour. And I don't know whether that was just my internet or just my PC struggling with my current setup.
I can't stream that on my PC and play it at the same time.
That's
why I did PUBG Lite. But PC,
I have done.
I fucking dominated that.
Like, all of Chicken Meteorite last year was streamed through my PC whilst I played it. So, and it's PUBG hasn't really changed the way it runs since then, so I don't know what it was. It could be just the way that OBS is set up, because I was using Streamlabs OBS last year. But I definitely am open to the idea of trying some PC PUBG just to see if we can start to, like, push towards chicken dinners and not just chicken mutilated.
You want to watch Dying Simulator? Do you want to watch me loot for half an hour and then not come across anyone, then get killed by a bot in a casual game?
We need the Deliveroo logo changing, but change the R on Roo to L, and then stick a T on there. Deliver loot. that's what we do. Just deliver loot.
I don't think we've got enough time for the other news articles today.
Yeah, we are out of time. I will just wrap through the end of this one. Because obviously we were talking a lot about PUBG PC Mobile and console and crossover and things like that. Just a little bit of not food for thought, because we've all kind of been aware of this, being PUBG players / content creators ourselves. we always feel like, I mean, one of the conversation lines that I have kind of been sharing on the last few streams where I've been playing PUBG is that I need to come to terms with the fact that I was PUBG's core audience. I play PUBG because they made the game for me. They put content in that I wanted to play. They made big ass military guys that shoot people in a realistic world shooter nice. That was me. But their scope changed. That is not what they're after anymore. They are not bothered about the Western audience anymore because the Eastern audience is much, much more profitable from them, which is a very, very smart business decision. Pisses me off personally, but that is a smart business decision, and it's kind of justified by the fact that the Eastern audience, I know Eastern PC and console, is not the same as a mobile audience. It's not. They are different, but it is much more similar. And they made 270 million in 1 month. I doubt they aren't making anywhere near that from all of their titles across Eastern audiences. So it's not nice for me. It's not what I want. There you go. I mean, Jack says in the chat, selfish but smart. I mean, it is. It's selfish. It's for their own longevity and development, which makes sense. But
it's same as football. We had this discussion the other day. I mean, Vern's probably. I don't know. I don't know if he went to lurk more. He might still be in the chat. But it's when it comes down to football, the average consumer, i.e., me, you, and the likes of Vern, we've been priced out of football years ago. Like, my mate said that he found tickets for 25 quid. That's absolutely bollocks because I've been onto the website and you can't even buy them, and there wasn't 25 quid to buy them. So I don't know if he's got them subsidized or what, but like the average price to go and watch City, the average price to go and watch City is like 50, 55 quid. Like, I'm not paying that. Like, to be able to go and watch City, you have to get the train or go to park. That's the tenner. And then you got your food and drink on top of that. And if you're going to watch football, chances are you're going to be having more than one pint. Like, you're talking 100 quid before you even leave the house. I can't afford that. I'm fairly certain the majority of the working class fans around that area, like, let's not forget where City is, the Etihad is. It's in the middle of Eastlands where it's all barren lands. I mean, City have bought a lot of stuff around.
There's an Asda.
Yeah, there's a giant Asda. There's a big Asda there. Like, it is a proper working class place. Like, there isn't mansions or anything around there. There's houses that are probably worth about 45 grand because they're falling down. Like, it's a proper council estate. Like, you got priced out of football years ago. This is exactly the same thing. Why if the business is working elsewhere and they're aiming towards what people want to buy, then why would they not do that in the first place? It's the black and pink stuff is fucking awful to us. The cheerleader and schoolgirl get-ups that they have in there doesn't appeal to us at all over here. But somewhere else in the world it is, and it's making them a lot of money. So why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's football's not a working class game. PUBG's not a Western game. It's in the same thing. It was, and it started out there, and it is when it's relevant and when it's financially viable to do so. But generally, no, we are still looking after profits, which means that we need to look after our number one profit margin providers, and that is Eastern audience / non-working class audience / whatever. So there you go. Economics 101, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Nice. It's heartbreaking, but it just is what it is. We'll still keep playing PUBG though, because it's exceptional. It's a really, really good game. Barrow had a good comment saying, where was it? PUBG is skill-based, which only works if everyone starts with the same tools. And that's it though. Like, there's none of this multiple formats. There's no multiple lobbies, and they are trying cool things. They're trying to give us different queues and so on and so on. It just doesn't work. Not for us. I mean, it works all right if you're in Asia and you're playing on Asian servers. If you're playing on Asian servers in Europe, then you've got some horrible ping, which makes it unplayable and stuff like that. But a lot of it works. I think they have an Erangel-only queue on PC in Asia, if I'm right. I could be wrong. That might have gone again, but I'm pretty sure they have that because it works perfectly over there. We just get the cast-offs, which isn't strange, but yeah, which not isn't strange. It makes sense, but it's painful. So yeah, we'll keep playing PUBG until something that does PUBG without wall running space suits and all the other stuff, firepower crafting stuff comes along, and then we'll move over to that one. Yeah, nice. Nice. Try 75 quid for a Celtic kit. DHK. Yep, that put
exactly.
Nail on them. Not only that, I mean, if your club is being mismanaged into the ground, then DHK explains why PUBG sponsors are primarily Asian celebrities with Blackpink and Song Heung-min. I mean, Korean company looking after their country. Blackpink are Korea's most viewed girl group. Oh, I think it's globally the most viewed girl group, which a Korean girl group. Yes, nice. And Son Heung-min, poster boy of Korean football, so makes sense. Cross into new audiences with Korean stars. Nice. Not for us. It makes sense from a business point of view, but for EU player, not like this. Not like that. Actually, that gives me an opportunity to use the not like this emote that I've just put in for Mr. Ben West. There we go. There we go. You guys, you might not know Ben, but that's the first time that's ever been used on this channel. There we go.
Is he here? Oh, I'm gonna have to go into who's in the chat. Please tell me he's here. Usually he pops up and he hasn't done today, so he hasn't. Fantastic. I cannot wait to see that in the chat later on.
So yeah, if you don't know what it is, there was an image came up of Ben sat. So Ben is a journalist. He is I don't know if he's chief writer or whatever his position is technically.
Editor in chief.
Oh, there you go, editor in chief of Next Gen Base. And that picture was from like 7 years ago at E3 while he was sat waiting for press registration. So he's just sat there like that. So I added it for today as a not like this emote because he will be joining us for our watch along for the PlayStation Showcase at 9 p.m. tonight. So if you're not doing anything this evening, do feel free to come back and join us. We are going to jump off now. We'll then jump back on in a little bit, play some PUBG. We'll then jump off and then we'll jump back on later on tonight at 9 o'clock. Well, we'll be live from about 8:30, 8:45-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, because the showcase starts at 9. So if you do want to watch us go through all of that news, do feel free to come back and watch that along with us. Anyway, Ben is joining us in that conference, so as an excuse to get Ben's face into the chat, he's got our one night only, not like this emote, and it's there for you if you want to use it. You can only use it on this channel because it's a follower emote rather than a live use across Twitch emote kind of thing. Where do we get to? There's so many comments. I don't even know where we got to. There's a lot that I've not even caught up with. My lad loved the Liverpool kit his granddad got him. The top, and it cost 59 quid just for a kid's top. Rage. I get all my footy tops from the Far East now. Cut out the middleman. PUBG also went big when it went free to play on PlayStation, and I imagine a lot of people stayed with it afterwards and spend their hard-earned on a stupid in-game purchase. So it's worth doing it occasionally to get more people in. Salt Dog says I still prefer S Club. Damn right. S Club.
Ain't no pie like an Escal pie.
Yeah. I'm genuinely of the opinion that they are legit. You can't tell the difference between the real kit after all they're made out there. Anyway, I mean, my United shirt that I keep wearing that people haven't noticed is Dodge is Dodge. So there you go.
I would absolutely agree. Apart from it's a size down.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like you have to size up. But yeah, apart from that, it comes with the tags and everything. It's fucking mental.
Steel Bonsai, check out DHgate. DHgate, just as I'm saying, hashtag no spawn, hashtag no ad, hashtag just there you go.
Don't be worried when you see the images and they have no badges on. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Leave that. Fine.
So I'll just drop me a DM. I'll give you some links. But that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us for the stream. Thank you to Bonsai for the host, Thugs and Anarchy Max for the follow, Hamish for the big old raid, Beans and Vern for hosts, and King for the early follow in the stream as well. If everyone else wants to drop a follow, do it now, right now. You don't have to. But if you do want to follow the channel, do feel free to do so. That way you do get notified when we go live. As mentioned, we do play a lot of games. We will be playing more PUBG shortly, so if you do drop a follow now, you'll get notified when that happens. You'll also get notified for tonight's PlayStation Showcase watch along. Don't feel like you have to subscribe or anything like that, just like you don't with any channel on Twitch. But if you did want to subscribe to our channel, make sure you join the Discord too, because that way you get entered into our loot drop, which is our free giveaway. If I say free, if you're a sub, you get included into the giveaway as part of that. So if you're in our Discord, you get included in the loot drop. We do a prize giveaway the first Monday of every month where someone wins a prize. Last month, it was one of these Ice Cream Uploads esports jerseys, and the month before that, and the month, yeah, because people keep wanting them. People keep voting for that as the prize. We gave one away to Bacon Chin this month. West's is in production. Chapper's got his a couple of weeks ago. West's is currently in production, and then Bacon Chin's will be on the way once that one has been produced after West. So yeah, feel free to get involved. Don't have to. You don't have to though. Or you could just stick around and watch the stream. That way you get channel points, and if you get enough channel points, you can throw a 1 month sub down. Obviously, you've still got a win, the loot drop, which is kind of like, it's against the odds, but you never know. Imagine that. Imagine when that happens. Someone buys a sub with channel points and wins the loot drop. That would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, Pirates still sat there without winning anything 29 months later on or whatever. But yeah, there you go. But that's it for now. Before we disappear and come back, though, Mr. Bib, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have stopped by today, that have hosted us, that have subscribed to us, that has raided us. We very much appreciate it. The chat has been lively. You absolutely love to see it. But we still have one more show left this week. So if you want to help shape that show, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. If you are watching this on any of our on-demand services, then go to the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there for you. But all we need from you is URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time? Tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day.
We will be live with the next episode of The Scoop tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Big dirty-ish.
10 a.m. tomorrow for the next episode of The Scoop. Thank you for sticking around. Lotus says, what time are you live for PUBG later, sir?
Half an hour-ish?
Yeah, probably about half an hour from now. So just before 2-ish. I am only going to add a caveat in, though, in the fact that I am a dad. And there may be a need for a school run, but that would be around 2:30, 3-ish. So I may have to hold the stream. I mean, I think I'm going to start anyway, but I may have to like pause the stream for 20 minutes while I do a school run. I may not, because my child's at the age where she can walk home, but it's scheduled to piss it down today, so it depends on what the weather is. So probably about half an hour we'll be back live. So go grab yourself some food, get yourself some dinner, grab yourself your Cronus, sit at your console, watch us play some games, maybe jump in and join us. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But that's it. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We appreciate everyone for sticking around. We love you, lads. Remember, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.